Now we're crossing over live to Parliament, where the Deputy Minister Designate for Foreign Affairs, Mohammed Habib Tijani, is taking his turn answering questions before the Appointments Committee.
Alhaji Inusa Amadu, Constituency Chairman, and his executives, Bazabi Kengo, executives of the Yendi constituency. Yaptwal na Tolan, is it Tolan na Bembla? Bembla Tolan na. Okay, because I thought in Yaptwal na, but I didn't see him around, so I was wondering. And Alhaji Abdurrauf is also here with the nominee. Thank you for coming. Hajia Safura Abukari, that's one of the spouses. Imams from Yendi, Imam Banzaha Nayana. Hajia Abibata Shani, Deputy CEO.
So those were excerpts from Parliament, the Appointments Committee. And staying with the committee, Deputy Health Minister Designate Kingsley Abuaji Jedu has revealed plans to assist the Health Minister bring an end to the daily neonatal deaths at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. A Joy News special documentary revealed 4 out of 5 babies die daily at the mother and baby unit of the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. And reacting to a question on the situation by Parliament's Appointments Committee, the nominee revealed plans not only to address that challenge, but other problems in health care facilities across the country.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I think I was at a meeting with the health sector agencies 3 days ago, where this...
Chairman, in what capacity?
Oh, as an observant, to be briefed. And this issue came up. I remember they said we require about $190 million US to complete the building. I'm also privy to the fact that my minister and the chief director, as I speak now, must be in Kumasi, going to invite the Ashanti King to a program that is scheduled for next month in Kumasi. Definitely that issue will be discussed. So at that point, we'll take a firm decision as to how we'll help to complete that block. And we know, I'm very much aware that it is not only Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital. There are other hospitals that also need or require urgent attention. My minister has assured me that we'll put our heads together to find lasting solution to some of these problems. Thank you.
Well, the Joe Gatti committee that investigated the bribery allegations against some members of the Appointments Committee has mounted a spirited defense for its work following criticism by some MPs and civil society groups. The committee, after 2 months of work, concluded no evidence was produced to back any allegation of bribe taking among MPs. Mahama Ayariga Bokwe Central MP, who the committee cited for contempt, and anti-graft groups have questioned the committee's decision to exonerate First Deputy Speaker Jose Wusu and Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak. Mahama Ayariga has also questioned the authority of the committee to cite him for contempt. But a member of the 5-member committee, Ben Abdallah Banda, insists their recommendations are in line with the rules of Parliament.
If you make or publish a falsehood against a member of Parliament, and at the end of the day, an investigation is carried into the matter, and it is established that that allegation cannot be sustained, either in fact or in law, then you will be deemed to have committed contempt of Parliament. And that was the finding that we came up with. So there was nothing that went outside our scope or that went outside the jurisdiction vested in us. And in any case, what we came up with by way of recommendations, to a large extent, to the extent that they are recommendations, they are not binding on the House. We only recommended that because of ABCD, because the bribery allegation could not be proven, what was the consequence? The consequence here was that Mama Ayariga peddled falsehood whether intentionally or unintentionally, whether politically or that a peddling of the falsehood was motivated by a political consideration. The bottom line here is that somebody's reputation has been injured. And what is the remedy? The remedy is what we provided.
Well, on the concern about the committee's decision not to publish details of what it found upon examination of the CCTV footage on the issue, Ben Abdallah says they found nothing substantial.
When we followed the lead, we did not get the evidence that we wanted. So the lead did not help us.
So what did you see when you examined the CCTV?
I didn't see anything. We didn't see anything. To the extent that the CCTV camera borders on the security of Parliament, there are certain things I cannot reveal to the hearing of the public. But we have written our findings or written our decision in connection with what we saw when we went and watched the CCTV footage and have delivered same to the Speaker.
What are you trying to hide for which you think we shouldn't see some of those details relating to what you found when you watched the footage?
There's nothing significant to be hidden. But the bottom line here is that when we went and watched the CCTV footage, we did not see anything. He claimed that some people, after the incident and when they decided to return the money, went to Muntaka's office with the monies in envelopes and handed over or returned same to Muntaka.
You didn't see that when you examined it?
The CCTV footage captured it. But when we went and watched the CCTV footage, what I'm saying is that we didn't see anything.
So you heard there a member of the Joe Ghartey committee tasked to probe the parliamentary bribery scandal, Ben Abdallah Banda there. Our parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku-Gappo joins us live with more details. Joseph, I mean, there's everyone's waiting with bated breath to see what the Speaker will say. What's the update on that situation now?
We are still waiting. The House suspended about 4 hours ago. Session was suspended about 4 hours ago in order for, make way for the other businesses that the House would be undertaking today. In fact, there's a lot on their plate. You would know that they have to approve what they call the Appropriation Act for the year 2017. And this Appropriation Act is supposed to give government the green light to be able to spend all the money that was approved for in the 2017 budget. Now, the last Appropriation Act that was passed back in back last year, it's expiring today. That's the 31st of March. And so, unless they're able to pass a new Appropriation Act from tomorrow, government will not be able to spend any money. That needs to be worked on. From what we understand, the Finance Committee of Parliament is meeting on that as we speak. And when that meeting is done, that's when the whole House will convene, and then they would go ahead and pass the Appropriation Act. The other thing we're waiting for is the Speaker's ruling on the issue of the Joe Ghartey Committee's report, which he indicated last night he would give today. In fact, earlier today as well, he gave the indication that in due course he was going to give the ruling on that. It's actually expected to be today. In fact, sometime after midday, the Speaker himself, Professor Michael Quay, had to leave the chamber even as proceedings were ongoing, and a number of other bills, including the VAT Amendment Bill, were being debated to make way for the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to take the seat. Now, as he exited, that's when he gave the indication that although he's leaving for the second Deputy Speaker to take the seat, he would be giving that ruling on the Joe Ghartey Committee's report issue in due course. And so we're also waiting for the resumption of sitting so that those important issues will be considered before the House eventually adjourns sitting for today.
Joseph, as you indicated, the Speaker said that he would give his directive in due course. Is it likely that he will give this directive before close of day today?
It's looking likely from the indication that we're getting. We understand that leadership has actually been meeting on this particular issue this morning to come to a firm conclusion on what exactly the way forward should be. And a lot of progress has been made in that regard from what we've been made to understand. there's a lot of information making the rounds, including one that indicates that it's very much likely that the Honorable Mahama Yarega would be offering some apology for that particular bribery allegation that he made, and also for how he reacted yesterday when he was asked to apologize. In fact, the indication that we're getting is that he's been asked to, not that he's been asked, but he's actually penned down a letter to that effect, a letter of apology to that effect, which the indication is that once the sitting resumes, the Speaker will be giving out those details on that particular letter that he sent out to the Speaker. So the Speaker actually said in due course, where he didn't give the specific timeline, but we know that yesterday, before he adjourned this, and he said it will be today, and it's expected that once the House will still be resuming sitting later tonight, definitely, because they need to get the Appropriation Act passed today. When they resume sitting and they get that particular item out of the way, it's very likely that he will deal with the Geographic Committee issue before the House adjourns sitting till Monday.
All right, so that's parliamentary correspondent Joseph Opoku Gakpo there. And stay with Joy News. We'll be bringing you updates on that particular sitting where the Speaker is expected to give his directive on the Bribery Scandal Committee's report. Now, 7 basic schools in the Kwewu East District of the Eastern Region remain shut following threats to life and property of residents by nomadic herdsmen there. Reports suggest the herdsmen have been threatening to kill residents who have expressed reservations about the activities of the herdsmen whose cattle they say is destroying their crops, among others. Joy News is also learning that BEC candidates may not be writing their exams as a result of the situation. Correspondent Kofi Sian joins us on the line for more on this. Kofi, we understand the Ghana Education Service actually directed the schools to be shut down after several complaints by parents and children there. What more can you tell us?
Well, this decision was taken in consultation with the Regional Security Council some few days ago, and it was triggered by the fact that parents, school children, and the school authorities in the affected schools were complaining about the dangers that were posed to the school children by the activities of these herdsmen, who are mainly Fulanis. According to the school authorities and that of the school children, the Fulani or the herdsmen have been coming to their school compound to graze with their cattle. So they feel that their presence there poses a danger to life and property. So they reported to authorities who are to ensure that they, speak to the Fulani herdsmen. But they did so all to no avail. So they decided that they talk to the Regional Security Council to ensure that the schools are shut down temporarily.
Now, you've been speaking to one of the assemblymen in the area. What has he been telling you?
Well, the assemblyman for Atane Ata electoral area has been corroborating what the residents have been saying. According to him, they have been coming to the schools, about 7 of the schools in that area. I can mention a few of them: Atane Ata DA Primary School, one other school, Edumasa Primary School, then the other in Sheshe electoral area. So these are schools that the cattle rearers have been coming there with their cattle. So whenever they come there, they complain to authorities, but to no avail. So they decided to speak to the Regional Education Directorate, and they, in consultation with the Regional Security Council, decided that these schools be shut down temporarily for, for them to sort out the issues before the schools are open. So
All
as
right.
I speak to you, the schools are shut down.
All right. We can listen to the assemblyman now.
For example, teachers from Atane Ata stays at Fairhead, and they have to use bicycle for about 2 hours before they get to the school. Also, those who teaches at SSCSO also stays at Fairhead, and they also have to use bicycle to their destination, that's the school, to teach. And these people too are in the middle of these 2 roads, so they find it difficult to go. As I'm speaking to you now, about 6 schools in the Kwao East District Assembly has been closed down. The reason being that the activities of these Fulani herdsmen is causing a threat to the school children who use these school facilities. Because when they are going, these people operate on free range. So, and they are holding guns too, as they are taking care of their cattle. So these children are afraid. Moreover, parents' farms has been destroyed, find it difficult for them to get money to purchase school materials for their children. So whenever you tell a student to pay something, the parents are not being able to pay it. So the education officer is necessary to close it, because even when people are in their houses or in their farms, they are being attacked by these Fulani herdsmen. So it's causing fear and panic in all the villages. And teachers too are not willing to stay, because if a farmer could be on his farm and he will be attacked, or someone will be in his house and can be attacked and killed by a Fulani herdsman, then I think the life of these teachers too are in danger. So the education office thought it wise that all the schools should be closed down until security is secured for the teachers and also everyone in the communities.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a short break, but still ahead in the bulletin, Greater Accra Regional NADMO reveals a military-led rapid response team is on standby ahead of the rainy season this year to assist in case of flooding. You're welcome back. Now, 3 persons have been refused bail in the ongoing Justice for All program in the Secondary prisons. 18 others have been granted bail. Joining us is Seth Kwame Boateng, who is covering proceedings from there. Reports the judges have extended their sitting because of some special cases that have come before them.
So I'm here today at the secondary prisons where the Justice for All program is taking place today. The 2 judges sat today and they are hearing about 30 cases. The Justice for All program itself ended a while ago, but the judges had to extend their sitting because of some special cases that came before them, where some people who are on trial had been in remand custody for 10, 7, 6, 8 years. And for many years, they've not been sent to court. So the judges decided to stay and also hear their case. And I've sat through that one. And the 4 cases they have looked at right now, they have granted all of them bail.
Today's proceedings have been very successful. We discharged a total of 8. Granted bail to 28. And then refused 1 application. We struck out 3. And then 1 was referred for psychiatric treatment. And we dealt with a total of 41 inmates.
And it appears today you had a number of murder cases. Why?
A lot of, especially from the social area. I don't know. Yes.
Any special reason?
I cannot tell. Well, they are alleged to have committed the offense. Maybe that is why they are in the prisons.
And you had to extend your sitting for today. Why?
Yes, we have to extend it because the approved list that we have was as at October 2016. But since we are sitting today, the 31st of March, we had to take those cases that were not considered. That was why we had to do an extended sitting today.
There had been criteria set to select people. So this year, the remand prisoners were selected based on certain criteria that had been set. And we realized that the selection criteria left other inmates who equally needed to benefit from the Justice for All program. So as a result of dialogue between this administration and then the authorities, the Judicial Service, the Supervising High Court Judge of the region, we came to the conclusion that those people we earmarked to, they needed to be heard. And that explains why the supplementary list was submitted. And though we submitted more people, about 15, looked through and then narrowed down to 7 of them who have just gone through the program.
Now, an Accra High Court on Friday ordered the hierarchy of the Ghana Police Service to reinstate dismissed police officer DSP Gifty Tehoda and pay her accumulated 5 years' salary. The court, presided over by Justice Gifty Ajay Ado, ruled that the dismissal of the officer was wrong. The judge noted that Mrs. Tehoda was unlawfully detained by the Bureau of National Investigations in 2012 when she was picked up following the cocaine-turned-baking soda saga at the police headquarters. The judge also held that the police breached the rule of natural justice for a fair hearing as DSP Tehoda was not given an opportunity to be heard during the service enquiry by the police, leading to her dismissal in 2012. I'm joined in the studio now by my colleague Evans Mensah, who's been monitoring the story. Evans, hi.
Hello.
Now, no doubt this is a huge victory for DSP Tehoda. She's been fighting the establishment for quite a while now. Yeah. She's been vindicated. Tell us, what more do we know about the ruling?
So she's not going to earn 23,000 cedis. We know that because that's one of the damages that she was asking for. Plus, this has been 3 years in the making. In fact, it just happened, it goes all the way back in 2011. She won the initial case, but the police refused to reinstate her, and then she had to go to the Human Rights Court. And so she was entitled to promotions over that period, because when this happened way back in the day, she was director in charge of criminal crimes. And so the thinking of the court is that whatever promotion she's due over the period that this had happened to her, right, she'll be entitled to that. She has to rise through the rank. The IGP has to calculate that and put her in that particular position. And again, the judge was absolutely clear that what happened to Madame Tehoda was a breach of natural justice because she didn't get a proper hearing within the police service itself, and over the period when it became absolutely clear that she had been wronged by the police service. The police service announced on this, but it still refused to give her what she was due. So that's essentially what the court said today.
I see. So she's entitled to the promotions that she didn't get when she was fighting this case. Yeah. She's entitled to 23,000 cedis in the form of compensation. And what else? What was the last one?
I mean, the fact that during that period, whatever, so she has to go back. We don't know what position she'll be in, but the breach of the natural justice that she's also entitled to, because she was not given a fair hearing, she has had to be reinstated, she was not reinstated. All that will have to be factored into the
Now, this case has been going on for 5 years, since 2012. Yeah. Tell us how it all began.
I don't know if you remember this cocaine-10 baking soda story that was very popular back in the day in 2011.
Yes.
This lady was arrested, called Nanama Martins, with items suspected to be cocaine, and the evidence was taken. The evidence of that was kept in police custody. The view was that Madame Tehoda, had direct contact with this lady, and that somehow they were friends. And so one day they went to check on the items, and the items had somehow metamorphosed into baking soda. So it raised an alarm. Yes. This whole country for several months was caught up in this whole movie that was unfolding at the police service, how cocaine can turn into baking soda. She was a person who was isolated as a cause of this. The police administration internally singled her out as the reason why this has happened, because of a relationship with this Nanama Martins. And so they decided to investigate, and they came out to publish the findings to suggest that she's guilty. Because of that, her appointment with the police was terminated. She felt she'd been wrongly terminate and dismiss, and so she took this matter up at the court. She won that case. The police was actually reinstated. They didn't. 3 years. She decided now to take this matter to this, the Human Rights Court, which culminated in today's verdict.
Okay. Now, interestingly, you were called in to testify in this case, weren't you?
Strangely, yes.
What were the circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, we just got a letter one of those days. I mean, this is like 5 years ago. Or 3-4 years ago, and that we should come and testify in the case. We were called as witnesses for Madame Tehoda. We didn't go there on our own free will. Right. The court, in fact, we were subpoenaed by the court to come, so you didn't have a choice. So, and we had done a top story at 5:30 on radio about the story in which I interviewed the then director of operations, Madame Buatenga, I think she's called, and she made some allegations against the woman, Madame Tehoda, about what had happened and that she was guilty, etc., and that she found evidence that nailed her to the metamorphosis of the cocaine into baking soda, etc. And so there was some contest in court around whether she had made those allegations, and so she wanted to prove that she indeed made those allegations against her, allegations that were not justified. There was no evidence to back that on radio, and so she called me. Her lawyers, got the court to subpoena us, and so we went to testify. I had to just say what we did. I mean, they played. In fact, they got a copy. They had a copy. We had to produce a copy
recording
of the we had to produce a copy. The court someone has to produce a copy of that top story. We played in court. Then they asked us questions that will sue their case. So
you were a witness for the defense.
I mean, more like a witness for the court, because the court, asked us to come, subpoenas. Then we were I was cross-examined by Rose Buatenga's lawyers, the lawyer for the police service, trying to show that what I was saying was not true. We went there, I think, on three occasions, and we were not called back, and that was the outcome.
All right. Thank you very much. Evans Mensah is an editor here at Joy News. We're taking a short break. We'll be back with business. You're welcome back. Now, President Akufo-Addo is expected to interact with market women and ordinary Ghanaians in the Ashanti region to get first-hand information on the living conditions of the people this weekend as he visits the New Patriotic Party stronghold. As part of the 3-day working visit, the president will also visit the abandoned, uncompleted maternity block at the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital, which has been under construction for more than 40 years. As you may know, Joy News has highlighted the situation at the hospital, where 4 babies die daily as a result of congestion, in the impact-driven documentary Next to Die. Well, Information Minister Mustafa Hamid has been providing more details about the president's planned visit at a media briefing Friday.
The president will be in the Ashanti region, and he would engage in vigorous activities over the next 2 days up to the close of day on Sunday, in order to, as we said, maintain a constant relationship and interaction with the people. He would also visit the much talked about abandoned maternity block of the Komfo Anokye Teaching Hospital, to be able to see at first hand what it is, and therefore what his government can do to ensure the completion of this project, which will go a long way to reduce the incidence of child mortality in the Ashanti region.
According to the minister, the Ashanti regional branch of the governing party would hold a mammoth rally to welcome and honor the president for leading the party to victory.
Having announced to the people of the Ashanti region that he's coming, the NPP party in Ashanti region has decided that they would host the president to a rally, on Sunday afternoon. Basically to, if you want, show their gratitude to the Almighty God for helping them, prosecute a successful campaign which made him the president of Ghana. He has graciously accepted to attend the rally.
The president, as part of the visit, will also pay a courtesy call on the Ashanti king, Otumfuo Osei Tutu.
Meanwhile, illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey, which seems to be one of the major concerns residents of Kumasi, they want the Akufo-Addo administration to address this. Love News has been speaking to some residents about their expectations.
Galamsey for your Manso areas now, and they almost see a census now, a census in a ban.
If you go to the Manso area, the Galamsey activity there is terrible. They have destroyed the land. Nana should deport the Chinese. He should go to the village. The land is destroyed. One day, we will not get food to eat.
Health insurance, so we didn't because
I want Nana to look at the health insurance. It's critical to the ordinary citizen. Nana should look at the Galamsey. I went to Manso area. It's terrible. We should care about the future.
Now, a military-led rapid response team is on standby ahead of the rainy season this year to assist in case of flooding. This was disclosed by the Greater Accra Regional NADBO Director Archibald Kobina. Floods, destruction of property and even death dominates headlines in every rainy season. But speaking on the Pulse with Gifty Ando Apia, the newly appointed director said his outfit is responding to President Akufo-Addo's task to prevent rather than manage disasters. Aside from the rapid response team, the organization says it is engaging youth groups, traditional and opinion leaders to arm them with information on how they can help prevent flooding, as well as what to do when flooding occurs.
I've liaised with the military in ensuring that we have a rapid response team, well trained and then well equipped. That one will come to that point, that we need to equip them well so that you can have them ready to intervene in certain areas. We have also decided to put out our emergency lines. Every chief, every opinion leader should make sure that within his jurisdiction, you bring people together. One, identify safe havens. What we call safe havens are higher grounds where in case of flooding, people can easily move and be safe in those areas, and then call for help. And then everybody knows where you live, you know that this area usually it floods when it gets rain. So we want to make sure everybody is really conscious of the fact that everybody plays a role. Every single individual. Lights must be off when you see that the rain starts, so that electricity would not...
Why should lights be off when the rains are starting?
Well, you see, because sometimes some poles fall off. Yes, some poles fall off. And therefore, once it starts at certain points, definitely the ECG comes in and the lights are turned off, so that we do not have electrocution or what have you. NADBO itself would need support from every single individual.
What kind of support?
Resources. Once the rains are here, we need vehicles.
The government is there to give you resources?
Well, of course, but government alone cannot do all.
Well, last week, NADMO toured parts of the capital to ascertain Accra's preparedness for the rains. With about 1,000 flood-prone areas identified in the capital alone, Archibald Kobina says NADMO is increasing supervision of ongoing desilting works to ensure that drains in these flood-prone areas are ready to channel floodwater into the sea.
You will find out that desilting work has started. As a NADMO, we are supposed to liaise with various government agencies and bodies to ensure that we improve upon the system. And therefore, you will find out that in contact with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and the regional administration, the regional minister, we've had some desilting work that has started around some of these areas. Works have started around Sukura areas, works around the Graphic Road, Carnation areas, and some areas like that. So it's going to continue in other areas as well. Again, we're intensifying public education. Once you desilt the drains, then a chunk of the water will have its way.
Okay.
2, the people in low-lying areas all have to be very conscious. Okay. And we are telling everybody that life is important. Don't go out trying to save your property. Ensure that you, your children, your communities, and these are the reasons why we need chiefs, we need the assembly members as well on board.
So you are engaging the chiefs in the forum?
We need every single person.
When is that going to happen?
I'm sure that this week we'll inform you, we'll send the letters to you as well, so that you can participate, you can be part of it. Apart from the chiefs, we're looking at the youth groups, the various leadership, the assembly members, like I have said. And of course, each and every one of us.
Now, a recent hotline number for persons contemplating suicide has recorded at least 200 calls a day. This is according to the Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Akwesi Osei. According to him, the figures show a reflection of the number of people distressed and considering suicide as a solution to their problems. Dr. Akwesi Osei has also blamed the current spate of suicide on the increase in mental health cases in the country, with many of those who have suicidal tendencies often experiencing depression, bipolar disorder, and other forms of mental illness. He told students at the Techiman campus of the Valley View University, for every person who commits suicide, it is thought that at least 10 more people have attempted to do the same thing.
For about 95% of people who attempt, 95 out of 100 of people who attempt suicide or complete suicide, they have a mental issue. It is as your mental health issue that has broken down, that has led to a breakdown in your coping mechanism, for which you can't cope with what is happening to you, and you decide, let me take my life. So it's really a mental health issue. A good number of them are from depression. So you have depression, you have a sense of worthlessness, and then you feel like, then why don't I kill myself? You may even hear voices, and then you may commit suicide. So we should be more serious with our mental health issues, pump in the necessary logistics, financial resources, remove the stigma or reduce the stigma, because stigmatizing people does not encourage them to come out with their problems.
Let's stay on health, because doctors at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital have begun a 6-month specialized care for a 14-year-old girl who was defiled by 5 men at Nkoko in the eastern region. She's said to have suffered what medical professionals describe as post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the ordeal she went through. Ohim Interior, who first broke the story, has been following the story and has come through with this report.
Experts say psychological care for the victim, in addition to treatment for complications in her genitals, is timely. They say further delay could have worsened the girl's condition.
They are very common, but unfortunately, the time they get here, they might have gone the extreme. For her case, it has come at the right time, so it can be managed.
5 men who defiled the girl in tents and attempted to kill her dumped the victim in a stream, but the Good Samaritan saved her. Her story not only shocked and attracted nationwide condemnation, especially from gender advocates, but financial support from philanthropists as well. She has since Monday received specialist gynecological and psychological care in a process which is anticipated to take weeks. Dr. Osu Frimpong is an assistant psychologist at the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital.
She's blaming herself for her ordeal. And with that, it has made her self-esteem very low to the extent that she feels like life is not worth living. So she wants to take her life. Remembering the pain that she went through, the trauma, anytime that pain comes into the mind, yeah, she feels like if she had not gone there, the man wouldn't have seen her and that wouldn't have happened. That's why he's having that self-blame. And with that, it's making her lose her sense of worth.
The psychiatry department is meanwhile providing counseling intervention to enable her to overcome the effects of the abuse. The girl says she feels better after just 2 sessions of psychological therapy, with further assurance of recovery from doctors. Mrs. Osu Frimpong wants further support for her and other victims of abuse.
Now that she's become suicidal, if care is not taken, she can end her life. They should understand her condition and not blame her because it wasn't her fault to be raped. She might change in character and the things she used to do.
Now, Upper West Regional Minister Suleiman Al-Hassan has asked workers in the Wa West District to desist from absenting themselves from work. He warned the days when staff come to work 3 times in a week are long gone and that they will institute sanctions against them. Mr. Suleiman made the statement during an interaction with workers of the Wa West District Assembly at Weichiao. Rafiq Salam has more.
One major challenge or headache faced by some districts in the Upper West region, especially those that are closer to the regional capital, is the deliberate and ritual absenting of workers from office. Some of them could absent themselves from the office for several days without any tangible reason. The flimsy excuse always given is a lack of quarters or bungalows for them. They prefer to stay in Wa and commute on daily basis to watch out for work. Upper West Regional Minister Suleiman Al-Hassan, on a working tour of the Wa West District, bemoaned the loss of productive hours due to the lackadaisical attitude of workers and called on them to change over a new leaf.
Majority of us reside in Wa and we commute day in, day out to this place. And because of that, we do real work for only 3 days in a week. We know we have accommodation challenges in the district. That one, we will not dispute that. But we want to appeal to you that try your best. Don't come on Tuesday, but rather come on Monday. Even if you can't come on Sunday, come on Monday and then leave on what? Friday.
Another worrying development in the Wa West District is the illegal mining of gold. Petro Philemon Ankole is the Wa West District Coordinating Director.
But one security issue that is weight of note is Galamsey that is going on in the district, specifically at Jolingiri, that is around Tanina, Jolingiri in the Tanina electoral area. Rexet initiated a move, and there was a joint police and military task force that went to this place, chased them out of the place, confiscated they call it the mirror detecting machine. Those things were confiscated. And I know some were innocent to the police station.
The regional minister rounded his tour of the district by paying a courtesy call on the Wuchauna Na Imurugoma. He assured the chiefs and people of the area of the government's intention of working to reducing the poverty levels of the people. The Wa West District is ranked as one of the 4 poorest districts in the country and number 1 in the Upper West region, according to the Ghana Living Standard Survey report of 2016. Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam, Weichiao.
Now, the National Health Insurance Scheme, NHIS, has launched its African Health Markets for Equity project in the Volta region. The AHME project, which is being piloted across the country, is targeted at identifying and registering persons from poor households onto the NHIS for free to enhance access to health care. About 20,000 persons in the Adaklu and Agotime Ziope districts of the region are expected to be registered under the project within a 1-month period.
The AHME project is being implemented with support from Marie Stopes International, Farmer Access Foundation and International Finance Corporation, with collaboration from the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. The program has been piloted in 8 districts of 4 regions across the country. The test tool, known as the Proxy Means Test, that is PMT, has been designed purposefully for the program to identify citizens who cannot afford the NHIS annual premium due to poverty. Adaklu and Agotimazwapa district were selected for the pilot project based on a poverty survey conducted by the Ghana Statistical Service, which ranked the district the poorest in the Volta region in 2016. Speaking to Joy News, the Volta Regional NHRS manager, Elliot Akotoche, explained the program would help outwit abuse of the system and help his outfit achieve universal coverage.
What happened was that, our national health insurance, we're trying to make sure that we cover everybody in the country. That's investor coverage. And apart from that, we had exempt groups, which we normally call them indigents. But with this program, which is an annual program, partners like Maristos International, the IFC, and the pharmacists, in collaboration with the Ghana Minister for Gender and Social Protection, actually deemed it fit that they needed to support the national health insurance, and then the poor, the extremely poor, to get on board, to get rolled into the national health insurance. So based on that, based on the statistical figures, survey in 2006, they got to know that Volta region Adaklu Anyingbe, which used to be the district before, but now separated to Agotimazwapa and Adaklu district, were the two selected districts.
Chief of Adaklu Mafi, Togbi Agbobada, was grateful to NHRS for choosing Adaklu district and was optimistic residents will benefit immensely from the project.
This project is a very laudable one because it's going to help improve healthcare delivery in the districts as a whole. In fact, we thank the people, the African market for health equity, and his associates and partners for bringing this pilot program to Adaklu. We understand this is the pilot program in the whole Volta region, and with its success is going to be extended to the whole region. So we are very supportive in this project as it's going to help improve health facilities and access to healthcare in the whole district.
Fred Kwame Asaris reports for Joy News.
Now, I quit school to follow God's will for me, which is to become a prophet. Well, those are the words of a 20-year-old Collins who has deleted education from his life as he follows what he claims to be the calling of God upon his life. Joy News' Patricia Gasu has been finding out from the young man what the form of his calling took and how sure he is that this is the path God wants him to chart.
I have the call of the Lord. I need to do the work of the Lord. And throughout, I'm feeling it. That yes, I have the call. I have to serve the Lord. This prophecy was given to me by a pastor in the eastern region. And not only that pastor, I used to attend prayers in different churches. And normals, the pastors, the prophet there used to prophesy that I have the call of the Lord. I need to do the work of the Lord.
Collins is 20 years old, and for him, education is not his priority at all. He says obeying God's call is more important than education.
I have to do the work of the Lord. Because the work of the Lord is more important than everything.
More important than school?
Yes. Maybe some people may think that if you are not educated, you can't read the Bible. But if the Lord called you, what you think you cannot do, when He allows His Holy Ghost to come upon you, what you think you cannot do, the Holy Ghost will help you do it.
This is Collins' place of abode, a growing slum at Texpo Market, the grounds that was used for ground sales in the 90s. Like him, many have come to stay here. He tells me it has not been easy, but he will not give up.
As I'm in the house, I'm not working, I'm not doing anything. And my uncle has a truck which has been parked there. And that's what early in the morning, we carry it to go to the market to pick the ladies' goods Before, when they give us something, then we use that one to buy food to eat.
He is not the only one who believes he is on track, though he has abandoned school. His sister and uncle also believes he has made the right decision. They believe so far as he has basic education of the English language, he will be fine.
I think he should continue with the work because the Bible says we should seek ye first the kingdom of God and every other thing shall be added unto us.
In olden days, those people God called them, like say Peter and others, all of them are even fishermen.
Collins' story is not peculiar. Many young men and women go that path in the name of God's calling. But Reverend John Cato of the Charismatic Evangelistic Ministry believes otherwise. According to him, education is key, and every prophecy has its own appointed time to manifest.
Every prophecy has time and season attached to it. The calling is important, but not more important than education. Because even those that didn't have the opportunity or the privilege of having good education, but then entered into ministry, along the line they went back to school. They educated themselves, whether through home education or through regular school. They have educated themselves some way, somehow. That has made them acceptable to the people or to the people they shepherd or minister to.
For now, Collins cannot be compelled to pursue education. Perhaps persuasion may yield some results. For Joy News, my name is Patricia Gasu.
Well, but thank you from all of us here for watching. I'm Arbor Coons. Have a lovely weekend. Good night.
This is Joy News Prime.